of the Lubicon Lake Band number 453. Dr. George Giorgio, University of Alberta professor in the Faculty of Education. Dr. Kathy Adams, University of Alberta professor and Vargo teaching chair in the Faculty of Education. And Sheldon Kennedy, co-founder of Respect Group. I am thrilled to announce that Alberta's government has kept another important promise to students, parents, and teachers. Today, we are releasing the draft kindergarten to grade 6 curriculum for all Albertans to see. Before I get into the specifics, I want to thank every single one of the hundreds of parents, teachers, and subject matter experts who have contributed to this new curriculum. This was a monumental task, and I am so proud of the work that has gone into this project over the last 19 months. I believe in my heart that this new curriculum will position our children for great success and give them the best chance to reach their potential. In the last election, we heard loud and clear from parents across Alberta that it was time for a renewed focus on essential knowledge and skills in the K-6 curriculum. They told us they wanted to leave behind educational fads and unproven methods of discovery or inquiry learning. They wanted a balanced and factual approach to teaching our province's and our nation's history, one that confronted honestly the regrettable parts of our past, but also instilled in students an appreciation of the sacrifices made by generations that came before us, and a pride in the generous, prosperous, and diverse society they built. Most of all, after years of declining and plateauing student outcomes, they simply want their children to learn the basics and be ready to succeed. In the 2006 Progress in International Reading Literacy study, our students ranked #1 in 45 countries. Only 10 years later, we dropped to 17th out of 50 countries. In 2 recent Trends in International Mathematics and Science studies, our grade 4 students dropped from 16th place to 39th place in the world in math from 4th place to 16th place in science over that same 12-year period. This is unacceptable. We must do better at preparing our students. And that is exactly what this curriculum is designed to do. 4 key learning themes spanning all grades and subjects will be found throughout the new draft curriculum: literacy, numeracy, citizenship, and practical skills. Let me tell you about each one. First, literacy. Literacy is all about learning to not only read and write, but also to speak and to listen. Because of this, literacy lies at the heart of education. By mastering all elements of literacy, children will gain the skills necessary for lifelong personal growth and success. In the early grades, literacy instruction will focus more strongly on phonics, or explicit instruction in sounding out words, and the proper use of grammar and spelling. As students move on, they will study exemplary works of literature and be required to demonstrate literacy across all subjects. They will also gain written and oral communication skills, will learn to separate fact from opinion, and to identify common logical fallacies by critically examining a variety of texts. This will prepare them to become informed, thoughtful, and responsible citizens. The second key learning theme, numeracy, is about fluency with numbers and basic problem solving. Numeracy means being comfortable using numbers in everyday life, like telling time, measuring distance between objects, and budgeting. It is needed for most jobs. What's more, it's the basis for careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. STEM fields, fields in which we want our children to be competitive internationally. Here again, the old curriculum was failing our students and our teachers. The same math study I referenced before showed that the number of Alberta students who are innumerate doubled between 2007 and 2019. These students progressed through the system despite being unable to add or subtract. This must end. The new curriculum focuses on the basics, like adding and subtracting and the multiplication tables, and goes on to more complex applications in arithmetic, geometry, and data. And thanks to a new ministerial order last year, teachers will no longer be required to teach math using discovery or inquiry methods. The third key learning theme is citizenship. Drawing from history, geography, civics, economics, arts, and other areas of studies, students will learn how we built one of the freest, most prosperous, peaceful, and diverse societies in human history. It's worth noting that the previous government social studies curriculum, developed in secret and with limited public input, completely ignored the most basic elements of our society. There were no references to the roots and institutions of our parliamentary democracy or to the rights and responsibilities of citizenship. There was no mention of the rule of law, of our military history, or of the story of Canadian Confederation. These are undeniable and indispensable aspects of who we are. Our children need to know our past, to understand our present, and the new curriculum will teach them that. They will learn about the many sacrifices and contributions of those who came before them, beginning with First Nation, Métis, and Inuit peoples, the first inhabitants of this land. They will be taught how our history as a place of freedom and refuge for millions around the world led to Canada becoming one of the most diverse and peacefully pluralistic countries in the world. In so doing, students will hopefully develop not only a deep sense of gratitude to past generations and a pride in who we are today, but also of the responsibility to carry this legacy forward into the future. For the first time, students will explore the history of Black settlements in Alberta. Like the northern community of Amber Valley, they will hear the stories of Black settlers. Pardon me. They will hear the stories of Black settlers like John Ware and pioneer Agnes Leffler Perry. Francophone history, art, and culture will also be a focus in different parts of Canada as well as it is in the history of Alberta. Students will also learn to appreciate Alberta's deep history of multiculturalism, including the contributions of Chinese, South Asian, Eastern European, and other communities over the years. Students will learn not only of our historical triumphs, but also about historical injustices. This includes the terrible history of residential schools and of the ongoing process of reconciliation. By learning about different cultures and religions and the real-life experiences of their people, students will learn a greater understanding of and compassion for one another, with a focus on being united in our diversity and being proud of what we have and can build together. And last but not least, the final learning theme, practical skills. One of the things I hear most from parents is that they want their children to learn tangible, applicable skills that they will need in a rapidly evolving world. For the first time, students will learn financial literacy in every grade. Students will learn about earning, saving, borrowing, and investing. They will go from counting and understanding basic costs to budgeting and creating a business plan. They will also learn the latest computer science and how to solve problems with coding and algorithms. They will learn public speaking and listening skills to help communicate their ideas effectively and to collaborate with others. From a personal relationship perspective, students will learn about the importance of consent in healthy relationships. Consent will be taught as an essential element of the health and wellness curriculum, another platform commitment that we made to Albertans. Early on, they will learn that personal boundaries can be communicated through words and actions. In later grades, they will learn more directly that sexual activity should never be forced or make individuals uncomfortable or threatened. With these 4 key learning themes, literacy, numeracy, citizenship, and practical skills, the draft elementary curriculum renews our focus on teaching students essential knowledge and critical skills. There's a lot more information about each theme and how they will be applied on alberta.ca/curriculum. In August 2019, we began a transparent review process by appointing a curriculum advisory panel to consult with a broader range of Albertans. Their recommendations helped to shape a new ministerial order, which set the vision to guide student learning, update the curriculum, and strengthen the kindergarten to grade 12 system overall. We released this ministerial order last fall, and it continues to guide our work. Over the course of the fall, curriculum writers took input from advisors with subject matter expertise, as well as Indigenous elders and knowledge keepers. More than 100 current teachers from across Alberta took part in the curriculum working group, from public, separate, francophone, charter, independent, and First Nations schools. Deans and professors from Alberta's faculties of education also gave feedback. On behalf of Alberta's government, I want to thank all of the teachers and other experts who took part. While teachers will continue to play a crucial role as we begin to roll out the curriculum in September, it is also time for Albertans to have their say. The entire draft of the kindergarten to grade 6 curriculum is online. So too are helpful summary sheets and highlights for those who do not want to dive into the full 500 pages. I want to hear what you have to say and what you think. A great deal of work has gone into this material. Thousands of hours have been spent, and hundreds of professional educators have put in their best efforts. Albertans will have many months to have their say. So too will teachers. Some classrooms will begin piloting the new curriculum on a voluntary basis this September. We will hear what teachers think as they actually teach the new curriculum, what's working, and what may need further adjusting. I know this shift is enormous, 7 grades and 8 subjects, but it is one we inherited, and it is necessary for our children and their futures. We need to move forward and renew the Alberta tradition of educational excellence that our children deserve. And we'll continue to listen to Albertans through much of the next school year. All of this will lead us to September 2022. That's when we anticipate that we will remove the word draft from the label, and it will become the final curriculum for all kindergarten to grade 6 students. Looking ahead, we aim to have the draft for grades 7 to 10 ready for testing in fall of that same year, 2022, with grades 11 and 12 to follow. But right now, it's your turn to review the draft K-6 curriculum and share your opinions. I want to hear from parents, from teachers, and everyone who cares about the future of education in this province. Please visit alberta.ca/curriculum to review the draft K-6 curriculum and complete the survey. Now, I'm very happy to invite Chief Billy Joe Lubacan to provide some remarks. Thank you.
I greet you all and thank you for the invitation. I have reviewed the K-6 curriculum draft, and I very much support it and see it as a really good start, and look forward to the grades 7 to 12 as mentioned. Also, I'd like to acknowledge the elders of the First Nations, Métis, Inuit that were part of this curriculum draft, and also like to thank Alberta Education for doing that very needed curriculum for all students. We realize that we have a shared history, and that we need to keep focusing on that, especially with some of the atrocities that have happened with Indigenous people in this country. So I'm very pleased to see that. And also in support of universities, that student teachers really need to also learn about this curriculum so that they can then deliver it in the classrooms. So thank you very much. Have a good day.
Good morning, everyone. For a province to improve its literacy scores, 3 conditions must be met. The first one is that the province should have a robust, scientifically driven English language curriculum. The second is that we need to train and provide all of our teachers with the right tools to teach the curriculum that we are providing to them. And the third one is that we have to have in place effective literacy interventions for those kids who continue to struggle despite the fact that they're receiving high quality instruction in classrooms. I'm very pleased that after a long process of developing and revising and getting feedback from experts around the world, that we are delivering today to our teachers and to our parents a top quality English language arts curriculum. This curriculum is driven and guided by the science of reading. It brings to every classroom the best scientifically driven, evidence-based practices for our teachers to use and our kids to thrive as they are learning. The new curriculum starts by putting emphasis on phonological awareness and phonics, that we know they lay the foundation for kids to become accurate readers. As they become accurate readers, we introduce also structured instruction in vocabulary, morphological awareness, reading fluency that allows the kids to comprehend what they read and effectively communicate ideas. The new curriculum, the new English language arts curriculum, has 9 categories. And within each category, there are sub-skills that we are asking the teachers and parents to teach to their kids. You will see that there is a beautiful progression from early grades to later grades so that teachers can see what skills have been covered in the previous years, what skills are expected to be covered in the years to come. There is also respect paid to the developmental stage that each child is at, as well as to the characteristics of English language that the kids are asked to learn. Once again, this is a milestone that we are reaching. Thank you, Minister LaGrange, for inviting the research to be part of this. And I know that on behalf of my international colleagues in the Scientific Studies of Reading Society, we want to thank you for putting together an excellent English language arts curriculum. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. George Giorgio of the University of Alberta. I'd now like to welcome Dr. Kathy Adams from the University of Alberta to the stage to say a few words.
Thank you and good morning. Long-term economic diversification is grounded in a strong and agile K-12 and post-secondary educational system. Alberta's ability to attract high-tech companies, nurture homegrown startups, and provide continuing leadership in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and other state-of-the-art technologies depends on a well-educated workforce in the area of computer science. Digital technologies are now found in all sectors, from small businesses to large corporations, but also in healthcare, in community services, in education and libraries, you name it. Indeed, nearly every aspect of our personal and professional lives today are supported by advanced computing and communication technologies. And if we didn't appreciate this before, the pandemic has made the state of affairs crystal clear. From the internet technologies that allowed us to keep in touch with our loved ones, to the wealth of smart technologies assisting our frontline workers to save lives, to bring us food and essentials, and now shepherd us out of this crisis by delivering biotech-designed vaccines to our arms. It is now essential that we prepare our children to not only be skilled and confident users of these new technologies, but also successful innovators, creators, and designers of them. I am here today to give my strong support for Alberta's new K-6 science curriculum, which features an important new addition, computer science. This addition is not about raising a generation of coders. It is about helping all of Alberta's children develop a foundation in this 21st century science, which includes learning new problem-solving skills, computational thinking and creative design skills, along with other ethical and critical competencies that will support their science learning, while also advancing the literacy and numeracy skills needed by Albertans to thrive in our shared future. Introducing our students to computer science ideas and skills beginning in kindergarten means that Alberta Education is committed to helping us raise a generation of critical consumers and skilled users of digital technologies, but also these children will become tomorrow's ethical creators and knowledgeable leaders, able to leverage new technologies to support advancements in science, business development, and positive social innovation and change. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adams. I'd now like to call upon Sheldon Kennedy, co-founder of the Respect Group, to say a few words virtually. He's joining us on the television, as you can see.
Good morning. I I just want to acknowledge the leaders that came before me as I was sitting here and learning, and I'm just honored to be a part of this and groundbreaking, groundbreaking decisions that were made to draft this curriculum, and I just want to say thank you to Minister LaGrange and her team, and all those that had a hand in putting this together. I'm going to speak on the area of consent, something that I've been advocating for the last 25 years. I think is absolutely essential skill for not only kids from kindergarten to grade 6, but teachers and those adults that are with our kids and parents. I think that what we know today is that knowledge is safety, and age-appropriate education in this space is absolutely critical. The ability to say no, the ability to say yes, the ability to understand boundaries, I think, in my opinion, is not only going to keep kids safe, but it's going to save lives. From what we know, when we, in the child advocacy centers across the province of Alberta, I'll speak to one in particular, the Child Advocacy Center in Calgary, majority of cases that come in, 98% of those kids know their abuser, and majority of kids are under 12 years old. So, but what is the biggest thing that kids tell us when they're disclosing something that's happened to them, is that they just didn't know, and they didn't know that they could say no. So, I think that that's an example of an area and a space that I think is consent will cover. But I think when we look at, I jotted down some examples that, say kindergarten kids, I mean, boundaries or guidelines that will help keep people safe. That'll be one example. Permission statements can include communication yes. Refusal statements can include communicating no, right? Personal boundaries can be communicated through words or actions. And I think it's critical to be able to understand that. I also know that, the issues of maltreatment, they thrive on society's ignorance and indifference. And I think when I look at this, curriculum and the importance put on this teaching, not only for our students, but also for our teachers, it is going to help in many ways, and I think create better people by understanding their boundaries, by understanding how to say no. Something I did not know how to say no for many, many, many years into my adulthood, and I think that being able to teach this at a young age is going to create, it's going to be a huge benefit to our young people as they go through the school years. I have a 2.5-year-old son, and by listening to what I've heard here today, I'm excited for him to start moving through his school years, and as a dad, learning along beside him, because I think when we talk about these issues, this is not just about, our kids need to learn this and it's going to be better for our kids. Yes, it is. But I think as adults, we've never had the time. We never took the time. That was never in front of us before. And we need to understand the issues and the understanding and clarity of what consent is just as much as our kids. So that I look at these issues, and I look at the safety and the health and the physical well-being of our students. And I think that this is a combined learning experience between teacher, student, and parent and student. So in closing, I'd really like to applaud you, Minister LaGrange, and your team, and all of those that had a hand in acknowledging the importance of this type of teaching for not only student safety, but student growth. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sheldon. Really appreciate it. We're now going to head over to the phones for a few questions. Journalists joining us today will get one question and one follow-up. Operator, will you please put through the first caller?
Thank you very much, Steve. First question is from Kenny Trenton, Kicks FM.
Good morning. My question is for the minister. And first off, things like I'm talking about the practical skills section, like knowledge, like financial literacy, budgeting, things like this. As far as you know, is this the first time that this is ever going to be put in some kind of curriculum in this province when it comes to those types of everyday skills?
Yes, as far as I know, this is the first time that it is going to be embedded in the whole curriculum, starting in kindergarten, working its way all the way up to grade 12. And we are so excited for our young people to have these skills and learn it. I'm a parent of 7, and I see now that they could have benefited from perhaps more in this area. And certainly the fact that we are going to introduce it at the very young age, at an age-appropriate way. Certainly our young children in kindergarten and grades 1 and 2 will learn the value of money and how to count and add and start saving money, but to be able to take that all the way into their upper years where they'll be able to learn about borrowing, putting budgets together, such critical skills that young people need today.
Kenny, do you have a follow-up?
Yes, I do. And also, I guess sometimes when I hear from the Minister of Jobs, Economy and Innovation, we hear that things like artificial intelligence and new forms of technology are really starting to take shape, especially here in Alberta. I know that would seem like, at least for now, a more specialized studying in post-secondary schools. But on those topics like machine intelligence, artificial intelligence, and some of those more advanced technologies, maybe down the road, but do you ever envision that ending up in the classrooms one day?
Absolutely. I believe you heard from Dr. Adams where, she was talking about how the growth in this area in technology and science is just growing exponentially. And to prepare our young people for those essential skills that they need to further their studies, as I said, in the STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and math, really sets them up for success. So I believe there is so much when we have our youngest learners being able to learn how to code, how to deal with complex algorithms. I understand Dr. Adams was saying that at a very young age, she was taught many of these skills, and because her father was proficient in this area. So to see all our children having that exposure and being able to move forward in this area is a huge asset that they will indeed carry forward into their futures.
Thank you, Kenny. Operator, will you please put through the next caller, please?
Thank you. The next question is from Lisa Johnson, Post Media.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about the decision to begin teaching about treaties in grade 4 and residential schools in grade 5, given that this counters the recommendations of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission.
Well, I'm really excited about the fact that we have so much factual, knowledge-rich content throughout all of the K-6 curriculum on Indigenous, First Nations, Métis, and Inuit content. When we worked with our elders, with our Indigenous teachers, as well as academics, we certainly wanted to ensure that our students would be able to learn about residential schools, about the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, about treaties, and that treaties are living documents that not only did they have relevance in previous years, but they are as relevant today as they were before. And so this is something that we really wanted to ensure that our children did know. I actually do have a quote from Grand Chief Wilton Littlechild that he says, "As a former member of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada, Alberta, during our hearings, was the first province to publicly declare that it was launching its own initiative to develop mandatory curriculum on the treaties and residential schools for all students. We believe that education in general is the key to reconciliation, and with the work done to date, it is consistent with the United Nations Declaration in the promotion of respectful relationships between citizens And as a chief, I am honored to be a validator to the new education curriculum and look forward to its transforming and positive change. And I couldn't say it any better than Chief Littlechild has, because I too look forward to this transformational change, which will lead to reconciliation for all our culture.
Thanks. Lisa, do you have a follow-up?
Thank you, Minister, but I don't think that specifically addressed the key point here, which is that the Truth and Reconciliation Commission noted all grades, beginning in kindergarten, and we're seeing grades 4 and 5 in this draft curriculum. So why does this government believe that it's more important to learn about ancient Rome, the Magna Carta, medieval governments, before learning about these First Nations issues?
As I said earlier, our children will be learning content-rich, factual information starting in kindergarten, going all the way through to grade 6. They will learn about the extraordinary beauty of the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit culture. They will learn it in art and music. They will learn it across all grades and all subjects. So what we believe, and I believe, is we have the strongest content, and we will be addressing issues of reconciliation, of the residential schools, of treaties, of the Truth and Reconciliation calls to action. All of this is within the content and so much more. So I really encourage everyone to have a look at the curriculum. Go to alberta.ca/curriculum. I encourage everyone, and I want to hear your feedback.
Thanks, Lisa. Operator, can you please put through the next caller?
Thank you. Final question is from Janet French, CBC.
Hi there. Thanks for taking my questions. A couple weeks ago, you said, and I quote, "We will have probably the most comprehensive curriculum across Canada in terms of reconciliation." Yet, as Lisa was just mentioning, residential schools aren't addressed till grade 5, treaties not till grade 4. Saskatchewan mandates treaty education in every grade, including curriculum. What measures are you basing that statement on, that Alberta's curriculum will be the most comprehensive in terms of reconciliation?
Well, thank you for the question, Janet. And really, again, highlighting the fact that from kindergarten all the way through to grade 6, we have very detailed, factual, knowledge-rich content on First Nations, Métis, and Inuit culture, as well as all the issues that you've just mentioned and I've mentioned repeatedly. That is detailed throughout all of the curriculum. I invite you and every other Albertan to have a read of the curriculum at alberta.ca/curriculum. It is important for everyone to see how we've been able to embed that through every subject and across every grade.
Michelle, do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, I do. So your government also said that you would take the politics out of curriculum writing, and you claimed that the NDP wrote their curriculum in secret. 3 times the CBC has asked your office to release a list of names of political staff working on this curriculum, and you have refused. How is this transparent, and how can you say that you took the politics out of curriculum when political staffers are working on it?
So great question, and what I would say is that we have got everything online. You can go to alberta.ca/curriculum and have a look at the whole process. You can see the names of every advisor, of the list of the curriculum working group, teachers, as well as every detail on the process, the ministerial order on student learning, the curriculum guiding framework documents, all of these steps that we have gone through and that we continue to go through, including the work that, of course, my department does in this area as well. It has been a labor of love and a labor of extensive collaboration for so many over a very, very long period of time. This curriculum in some areas is the first update in over a decade or several decades. And so the number of people who've been able to come together and put this together, I am so excited. This is a great curriculum. It is solid. And I would encourage every single Albertan to have a look at it. alberta.ca/curriculum. You will get tired of me saying that, but alberta.ca/curriculum. We are welcoming your feedback. There's a survey on there. We will be gathering that feedback for right into 2022, because as I said earlier, we will not have a final version of this curriculum until September of 2022.
That concludes today's press conference. Thank you, everybody, for joining.